Good evening or good morning, everybody. It's the 2nd of January 2023, and things are happening here on the tracker. A couple of things going on. Captain Goog, is about to arrive in Hobart soon, so we'll talk about that. And to give you an idea about daily runs as well, Simon's getting around the corner of New Zealand, did 109 miles today in the last 24 hours. Kirsten only managed 88. So not as much there. And Abolish 116, slowly gaining ground. Captain Goog 46, and that would have been a lot less because if it wasn't for the last 3 or 4 hours, he's finally underway and flying along right now. Jeremy 93 nautical miles. Ian Herbert Jones 130, so he's making good progress. Elliot managed 86. He's just entering the zone of that blow that's come down. Took a bit longer to get to him, but he's into it right now. And Guy did 115 miles as well, so that's not too bad. So we'll start off at the back end here and look at what's happening with Guy. It's as projected yesterday, pretty reasonable sailing, so not a lot there. But all the action right now is with Elliot. He's going into this bit of a blow. He's taking it on the beam at the moment, remembering he's got a maximum sail area is 2 reefs in the main and a staysail. Okay, but he's probably getting down to 3 reefs right now, but he was making pretty good time. 5 knots, he's doing the same. So he's taking the seas on the beam as well, and at some stage I would fully expect him to start running down before it. But anyway, we'll wait and see what happens. So if we just look at, I'll put that right there. We can't quite see Guy. So I'll bring it back here and then I'll show you Guy's little blow on windy in a minute. So we'll come forward just a few hours and you see what happened there? That was a bit of a jump. I'll come back and I'll toggle this through. So each one of these an hour, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about 8 hours, and that system will be straight across Elliot. The other good news, anyways, you can see that Guy goes into pretty much light wind, so it's all dying out for Guy, so he'll slow down a bit. So now I'll just come and focus a bit more on and explain exactly what's happening with Elliot. The good news is he's not. The two things have happened. This depression has actually opened up a bit. It's like a clamshell. It's sort of gone brrr and opened out. So you don't get this really tight corner here. And it looked like previously when it was like that, he was going to be in this sort of danger zone here where the wind changes direction quickly, creates a very confused sea and so on. He's now taking it from a lot higher up. Okay, that's the first part. And if we just go up, so you'll see he's got a northerly breeze there. And then it's slowly going to rotate round to a northwest and then go into a west, which is reasonably gentle. And it's all happening pretty quick. So if we look at the sea state, in fact, I'm going to swap over now. You can see what's happening here in a rough position where he is. I'm going to go over to windy. This is the same blow. This is the maximum gusts. I'll just put that back to the wind. So the actual true forecast wind for there, right in the middle of it, which is where he's going to be, somewhere through here, is about 35 knots. But remember, we talk about gusts all the time, and it's at least 33% more. So that's another 11 knots or 12 knots or something. So that means it's 47 or something. But we have the benefit of a computer model here, and that brings it up. And you can see he's going to be facing 52 knots from the north. 50s anyway, 50, all around here is 50. And it'll drop off really quickly as it goes over back to 35. These are the gust strengths, okay? So it's still pretty powerful. And if we come to the waves, this is the tricky one. It's actually dropped off a little bit less. There's no sort of white coming up in here. So it's going to be 5 to 6 forecasts, which means you could get 7 and so on. But as I say, the main thing is when we look back at the tracker situation, he's not in this zone, and this zone has got a little bit more softer anyway. So we're let's hope he gets through this okay and is carrying on safely and quietly towards Australia. But it does move very quick. Boom, it's all out, and then he's into a constant westerly airflow, so he'll actually be making good ground. So we're thinking of him at the moment, but it all looks achievable, so no problem there. I'll come back now and we'll come across here and look at Ian Herbert Jones sailing right now in pretty good conditions, making 5.7 knots. and it's all going to get it's very mild for him. You can see Jeremy also, he's doing okay in that zone, 4.7. He's enjoying some mild weather for a change. I'll just build that up so we can see both of them here. I'll pull it forward a day. There we go, that's a day ahead. Getting it quieter for Ian, pretty much the same, just a swing in the wind direction for Jeremy, so he's not going to be upset about that. And then again, Jeremy's still sailing. Ian gets back into a bit of a breeze, so the next couple of days are looking quite gentle for them. So now we'll leave Goog to the end and look at what's happening here. This is really interesting for Simon because two things have happened. He did make it across out of that blind spot I was talking about. If he just got across and then he could, just ride the wind shift a little bit, and that's exactly what he did. So no more tacking, and he's able to keep on the run line pretty much. And he's been making good time, 5.6 knots at the moment, and he can reach across there. His next mark over here, the Bounty Islands, he's got to leave that to port as he goes through, so he's right on track. And fortunately, Kirsten's now come back in the breeze. She's making 4.9, so she's climbing up. So that's okay, and Abelish is making 6 knots, so you'll see Kirsten's the one that's missed out on this one, but slowly getting there. So to give you the distances so we can see what's happening here, the distance between Kirsten and Simon is now 320, so she's been holding her own. That was about the same as before. So the winner now is actually the winner. When I say the winner, the one that's made the biggest gains in the last in a day or so is Abelish. He's only 95 miles behind Kirsten in a similar trajectory sort of thing, so less than 100 miles. And from Simon, 430. So still a nice little challenge going on between the three of them. And their weather going forward, you should be able to see all that. Yep. We'll just click this through by the hour, so nothing's changing for Simon. He's got a good breeze, starting to really pick up behind. The problem with that is the heavier it gets for Kirsten down lower than Abelish. Abelish's got a little bit less wind, Kirsten's got a bit more. She's got to head up a little bit, so she's got to take it all on the beam, whereas Abelish can afford to pay off a little bit. So I think you might still see an increase, a differential in the speed. Abelish is likely to be able to maintain a higher speed than Kirsten again coming in here. So by the time they get around the bottom here, I think Abelish could be within about 30, 40 miles of Kirsten. I think that's what's probably going to happen because he'll still keep gaining a bit. And in the meantime, Simon, he'll be just charging ahead. So anyway, not that's on the 3rd, so there's a day. We'll keep going. This calm, not quite going to catch up, so they'll still be in a breeze. Same with Abelish, and of course Simon is going to do as well, so do quite well with all that. He's got plenty of breeze to keep going. So generally, Simon's on a roll. Kirsten's trying to catch up. Abelish is going to gain in the next few days. So coming back to Captain Goog now, I'm going to blow this right up and we'll see how we go. He's over his calms and frustrations, which is always not good if you're a sailor, and he finally got the breeze this afternoon about 2 o'clock in the afternoon local time, 3 o'clock, and he's been making pretty much 7 knots all the way since then, or 6.5 to 7 knots every hour. So it all looks pretty good. He's heading out wide here. I thought he would have cut the corner, but he's probably a bit cautious, wondering about breeze that could be dying off in the middle. I'll just put that down to real-time weather now. You can see he's got quite a bit of breeze there now. That's probably 25, gusting 30. And he can afford to pay off. He's got to go up here. He's made his landfall, so he knows where he is. And it looks like he could, if all went well, he could be up in this first yellow line in Bruni, the northern tip of Bruni, by 11, 12 o'clock tonight, so local time. And once we finish this, we just have a quick bite to eat, and then John and Sally are kindly lending us their boat, and we'll go down to the boat down at Kettering, hop on board and head down to Kingston Beach, and we'll wait there. It'll be night when he comes in, and once we know he's on a roll, we'll head out from Kingston Beach, meet him, and come back. Ada and Yannick will be with us, and so Ada will be, I don't have to do anything this time. It'll all be Ada. Ooh. And anyway, we'll see what happens with the timing, and we'll keep you updated. Anyway, you can see what's happening there. I'll do an ETA update before I leave from here, but I'll be on standby for now. If we're saying midnight, it could be 5 hours. And to explain that, I'll just quickly show you how this works. There's a solid breeze going up there, so if I just click this through, I'll give you a distance perspective first. That's where he is there, and here's the first outer yellow line. It's 30 miles away. So if he's making 6 knots, it's only 5 hours, and it's now just after 7 o'clock here. So that's around midnight at this line here. If he gets on a straight line, and basically with this wind direction, he can do that. So based on that sort of that distance and so on, it looks pretty good. So we'll get rid of that. 30 miles. The inner line is about 6 miles further on, so another hour further on, so to make it 1 o'clock. But the thing to watch is the weather here. I'm going to click this through every hour. There's 1, 2, that's 8 o'clock, and that's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You can see here, this last hour or so, it gets very light. So whether he starts motoring here or whether he slows down, and he would normally slow down with this, will add hours to it. So whilst we're thinking 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock at Kingston Beach, that's probably the earliest, and it might take till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. It's all part of the fun. So we'll have to just see what happens, and we'll keep you updated as we go. So that's about it. We'll see you tomorrow, but stand by for Michael. He'll be happy to get in. And then I've got no idea how long he might stay. I would say we haven't heard of any issues with the boat, so I'd think it's probably just going to be a 90-minute turnaround and then carry on regardless. So, but we'll find